Napo Ramaili.
Ramaili. So L-I-K-D-I, like Disimelo with an L-I. Yeah.
So dipotso tsa ka di tlo go jump around, ne?
Not a problem.
Di tlo go jump around. Ngile shebela movie wa The Menu.
The Menu?
Yeah.
Unfortunately, it's the portrayal of our industry from the European eye.
Oya movie.
No, I'll keep my scope. There's some truth to it.
Is it? As a chef, ne? How did this come about? Because most of us had a hola, relevana, go to high school and middle school and secondaries. I didn't get to go ke batla gonna chef. So when I go tlang go feletse le gore mo fielding.
So it was honestly by luck and by default. And I had two options in my head. I wasn't really one of the brightest students go scale.
Sure.
I mean, from standard 8 till standard matric. So in a program that should take me normally 3 years, or that takes normal people 3 years, it took me 4 years because of my playfulness. So in the midst of that, once I got to matric, I had an option of either joining the military or finding something else that I actually liked. And at that time, I did not know what I liked.
Sure.
Per se.
But most of us, we do it.
Not really. You have conversation, you think you like that, but you're not certain about it.
Yeah.
So I'd never really say I had a passion of cooking. I never grew up with a passion of cooking. I'll be lying. It's something that I picked. Oh, as a matter of fact, so what happened is we used to take a bus go Mega City at 3 o'clock at River Park.
Sure.
So at one time I saw a couple of guys by go Bellevue Park, the chef. They are very uniform, they get premium proper.
Sure.
So that piqued my interest. So I've always been, I think, a uniform kind of guy, hence military and disciplinary in that regard.
Sure.
So how they looked and how they presented themselves walking Omega City kind of like caught my attention. I liked it and I found out a bit more about it. Did matric, passed. Then I had an option of either study Momafiking, go Unibo or go hotel school or go to the military. Going to Joburg or out of town was no option. Going out of town was no option because already straight from the onset. Next to her. So I couldn't go Unibo or go Northwest University because my mother was actually a lecturer there. So I needed to be away from her on a daily basis. The only option I had was then hotel school. The military, I did not do applications. I let it slide.
Sure.
So did my applications via hotel school and got accepted. Learned about cooking and the terminologies and so forth, which was difficult because all our basics are in French. The roots of our cooking is in French, and we're not fair in terms of French cooking, especially if one doesn't travel as much around the world. Budget constraints and money constraints. So I did my hotel school culinary arts diploma. Actually hospitality management diploma, then graduated that in 3 years, and an additional year did culinary arts, which I specialized in being a chef. Then
still Mahike.
The only time I was allowed to leave Mahike is if I got employment. And fortunately enough, 3 months after graduating my culinary arts, I got a job in Joburg at OR Tambo. At that time, it was still, what was the name of OR Tambo before OR Tambo?
Jan
Smart's Airport. Yeah, then I got a job at Jan Smart's Airport.
So you're all like that?
Yeah. Yep, my brother. It was during that transition of Jan Smart's and OR Tambo. Yeah.
So when is one a chef and when is one a cook? What is the difference between the two?
So it's literally like you have a mechanic and you have a handklanger. One is qualified, one is not qualified. So one is an apprentice of the mechanic. So it's literally by qualification. I mean, being a chef, there are levels, you understand? And being a cook as well is like you're in this, but you don't have a qualification behind it. It's literally the same thing, but it's based on qualification and how the region where you stay at defines your profession. Because you still find places like go to lodging where they define chefs as cooks, but it's still professional. But it's only the same thing.
But KFC, but fry
food assistants.
Food assistants.
The FSAs.
The thing is, not for Nagiri a cook. Says anyone who's capable of cooking, he can be called a cook.
Not everybody that drives is a driver professionally. Right?
Which is very true.
Right?
You need Sharp. Madam, I'm not. It doesn't sink well, man. Like, it doesn't sink well for nobody.
So
there's a cook, there's a chef.
So you have
Sharp. I get the part there, the cook, Mari, the chef part. The chef part, you know, only distinction, only difference between a cook and a chef.
So it's a language thing.
Sheba.
It's a language thing.
Doctor.
I was gonna do that as well. I'm gonna do that. It's a language thing. So cook is a generic English word. French comes from cook comes from French. I mean, chef comes from a French language. You understand? So based on the fact that our cuisine worldwide is influenced by the French, so that's why the term is recognized and used as well. You go on cruise lines as well; they don't recognize you as a chef until you get to a level of a CDP. A CDP is a level in the kitchen, which is chef de pâté.
Sure.
But the entry level is going to be a cook 1, cook 2, cook 3, then a sous chef, and then a chef de pâté.
Sure.
So it's progression as it is. It's just like in the military where you have levels until you get to the major.
Sure.
But in actual fact, a cook is somebody who's not qualified, and a chef is somebody who's professionally qualified.
So what you are telling me, Gori, a cook can produce what a chef can produce?
Certainly, with experience.
Is it?
Yeah.
Spanish wasabi king.
Spanish is that?
Wasabi.
So wasabi.
I told you what I'm gonna throw questions around.
So wasabi is a ginger root. So sushi cause it's raw.
Sure.
That's why the accompanies sushi 99. It's Korean cuisine, Japanese cuisine. Sushi is a Japanese cuisine. So it's a what do you call this? Antibacterial thingy. So because fish has got a high content of food poisoning or getting you sick, wasabi acts as a
bacteria.
What's the word, man? So it kind of like, it doesn't cook, but it helps suppress the bacteria of the fish that you're eating.
Because now somebody can move or Spanish wasabi king avantare is to open your taste buds.
No, it's not. It's a preserve. It's because you're eating raw fish. At the time.
Yeah, so the reason why I really taste buds so that I can taste that raw fish.
So you eat the fish before you eat the wasabi. You don't eat the wasabi before you eat the fish. So it can't open your pores like that, your taste buds like that.
Wait a minute.
You have the sushi first.
Then wasabi after.
Wasabi, or you have your sushi with a nibble of wasabi.
Now all along and every day of my life, Karoja wasabi.
This sauce, oja chicken in pilika sauce.
I don't even
crave.
Oh flip.
Oja chicken in crave.
No. My general knowledge.
Yeah.
Like you go restaurant in whichever time you go home. Go wasabi.
No, you can't. It doesn't.
And it tastes that thing is only it kicks.
You can't have wasabi on its own because it's gonna mess you up. It kills everything else in your flavor palette. It doesn't open up because all you're gonna taste from there on is gonna be the wasabi on its own.
Oh, no.
So that's why you have soya sauce accompanied by wasabi and for sushi. So those two acts as, I just forget that term where they suppress the bacteria. But there's a term for it where it kind of like makes it easy for you not to be food poisoned.
Sure.
It preserves you from food poisoning.
That's why
That's why it's a ginger root. It's in the families of ginger.
Is it? So would you encourage your kids to follow your footsteps?
No.
Why not?
Because my mother was very
So okay, wait a minute. I understand your answer. Your mother was a lecturer.
So my mother was very open-minded. She never constrained us in terms of what we choose in life.
Sure.
So that's the mentality I want to push on my kids. Let them make decisions and live by the decisions. As long as they make a decision, I'll support them.
So when I got to know about to follow your footsteps, would you still say no?
Yeah, I'll say no.
Sure.
So my daughter is 18 years, right?
Sure.
The first 10 years of her birthdays are probably missed 7.
Your answer is like, you anganyalo or no scanyalo, marwano yins. You angareka Mercedes Benz, no scarka Mercedes Benz, marwano driver Mercedes Benz.
I would not advise them to, but I will not stop them from taking it.
It's a difficult industry because I think what Napo is saying is that Nako, especially once we bereka mutumu, Nako haseaha, Christmas lunch, family events.
You miss out on a lot, funerals, and. You miss out on a lot in terms of family life balance is not there.
Industrial no isirasi to that level. Or end up maybe you can lay a threat to your marriage life.
To your life, to your sanity, to your brain, mental health.
Is it?
Yeah, highly pressurized.
But from the way until you stumbled upon being a chef. So how is going to be unfair for now? Is it a calling or is it just a career?
I love what I do. In as much as I stumble across it, but I love it. I've grown to love it, so I could call it. Passions you follow, you stumble across, they call you. So it is a calling. It is a career in a sense that I'm making life of it, but it's a calling because I love it.
So, initially you did love it.
I grew to love it.
You grew to love it.
Yeah.
We just see sa tla teleke ka senya sena mokhosi.
No, it's
Tala.
Yeah.
Tala. Teleka ka senya isena mokhosi.
Mokhosi's kingship.
Yeah.
No, not mokhosi is like noise. Noise.
So you also got see type of thing. Type of thing.
No, like when you are hungry, you let me say you stay Rivera Pagane, then you can't find a job more then you become hungry again. So you're gonna go.
It pushes you.
It pushes you. So like teleka is means it pushes you away.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, I hear you.
And because you are based in Jozi, what still gets you to come back home?
Homage, passion, love. I am what I know. Even my virginity was taken away from this town. So
we are going there.
All I know in terms of upbringing is this hometown of mine that I'm passionate about, and
so that's
giving back and plowing back. So when I started chefing years ago, there were very few black chefs and very few people to look up to as young.
Besides few black and few, even today, I still feel like we are not exposed.
Yeah.
You still are not exposed.
So it's probably plowing back as well.
Yeah.
I would love to plow back.
You should.
Yeah.
So what do you hate about home and what would you change?
The potholes. And for the mere fact that people don't want to pay for experience. Because as you go along, you grow in your industry and you've got so much to offer, but it comes at a cost. But people will rather have you they want to experience you in how they want to experience you and not pay for it. They want to dictate how they experience you in terms of food offering, in terms of product offering, or so forth.
I know,
People would rather go, how about today out KFC? If I come up with a proper restaurant here, people will never come because the prices will be perhaps, which is understandable, it's the economic thing. But if the prices of a meal are greater than what a spare or a typical restaurant people are used to, they would rather have that experience in Joburg than here more high.
You said you got change in the potholes. What about the mindset? It's around. How feel the mindset it's about making
exposure. You know what? There's such a lot of want, hunger, but it's exposure and reach that constrains people. I mean, there are guys that have no background of professional, like yesterday as well, one of my friends I was working with, he did not go to a hotel school, but he's got passion for food. He's got passion for understanding the business of food as well. So what we do, like Mawan, we bring them in, we work with them to show, to transfer skills and to transfer knowledge. It's exposure. We far from them, or in any other field, even the pilots as well, they're far from the people on the ground, whereby if we did school runs, for instance, alumni at a hotel school, go do a school run, and expose the kids to industries. Right now, I think if we have a career day, you still talk about a police, a soldier, a doctor. A nurse, and IT now, because it's fashionable. But there's a lot more. Even in food alone, as a chef, right? There's product development, there's food technology, there's food science, there's food photography. You understand? There's a recipe builder. You understand? There's product development. All of those are related to this. They can sprout from being a chef.
It's like a food technology because of varsity exposure.
There's a lot that talks to food as well. There's food trade. So there's a lot that when you do foods, all you do culinary, it's not just you're gonna go cater like everybody does. You're gonna go KFC and what else go KFC. There's more. Those guys that sit and make the menu KFC are product developers with a background of food technology or chef. Right? Do the guys know that? Do the kids know that at some point? No, they don't. At some point in my life, I was a product developer, new product developer for steers. Anything you would see on a steers menu would have come from me. And I found that out in Joburg, not in a career day goes Gela.
you yes,
you understand? So there's that knowledge that we have that we can impart. Because now it's Canaleon. I've also worked for Mickey Mouse in a cruise line.
Sure.
There's that much need of South African skilled labor that will go overseas. 7 months contract, come home, you make your money. Or 7 months, you do whatever else you do.
Sure.
You understand?
Mara rona le bosothonyana mos.
Mosotho, ha ke na Mosotho. Yeah,
Oh, pure Mosotho.
yeah, my mother, my father was.
Because ne ka bua ka chotho, easy chotho I get.
Yeah, pulled meat. Yeah,
Ba bitsa ba re keng?
pulled meat in English. In our language, in our
Gona
country.
le teng go se kgoeng yalo.
Yeah.
Is it? Ne ke re ke tla go botsa ka yone ora.
Boards, that's fine. Boards.
So la idira go lona ra. Go di restaurant teng. Ke utla se tsong ka re bile tla re ya vele la idira because of so I get jaga ke na ke enjoy go explore le go try something new ne. I get la Josie. Ke tle go restaurant teng e feng le go tla go teng go gone ra.
So what we do now, Tefo, and the other guys, Harry and Keegan, we do private dinners. We do private events. We do wine pairings. We don't do restaurant. We do restaurant in the sense that if they book us and they have an event,
Sure.
we don't have a brick and mortar structure at this point in time.
So yana mo protea mo mahike mo little keng.
No, I hate negaloko event go tennis court one go all white.
Is it? Yeah.
Last night we had a long table go tennis court where we're catering for the 24. VIPs, 24 people, a private menu.
24 people.
Yeah.
And I know you made a killing. I know you made a killing.
As long as the people don't have stomach aches, it's fine.
So, to understand, why presentation here dijo alone is so artistic?
It's an art.
Yeah, why really artistic? I think it's to seduce a motor. I know I'm not using the right term, seduce Marie.
No, it's fine. It is the right way.
Yeah.
Remember, you first eat with your eyes. Then your eyes inquire in your mind. Then you want to taste the flavors as well. So now another chocolate presented in such a way that it looks like a nice roulade with stuffed with something else in that roulade. When that entices you, I mean, you want to try this out. Your brain plays with you, and your eyes actually translate that message. I want to try this out. So presentation is everything else. Would you come to the restaurant and pay that $350 a plate?
No.
So it needs to make sense as well. So it's the work and the effort we put in to make you think that, to make you understand that we can play with our local food, our traditional food, and make it into a 5-star restaurant offering.
Mari, the only presenting that thing, okay, from my point of view, like they're too small. But I don't get it. How's na DJ okora more? I don't know again. Why? What's happening? And feel like.
So the problem with us people is that when you dish a plate of
yeah,
and I never fit. So already by the time you're halfway through that plate of hot. So what we do a 3-course, 4-course, 5-course, 7-course menu in small bites. So remember, the more you eat, the more you actually it suppresses your. It's not about the portion size of 550 grams of steak, and you don't finish it. You take it away because you can't finish it. It's too much. 550 grams of steak, 17 grams or 100 grams of chips. You will never finish it. And unfortunately, that's how we dish out. We were taught to dish out of the max because this is already a failure.
Sure.
You understand?
Sure.
So when you break it down into a 7-course, you have elements of everything else, and it's got our own flavors. And actually, they're good enough for you. It's not the amount of food that fills you. So it's not the amount.
Sure.
It's the nutritional value of the food that gets you full.
Is it?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know.
Couple concept having 7 bites or 5 bites.
Yeah.
So also reinforce like
Shabi.
okay, loma high 5 or high 6 again. So by that time, so that's how.
I know somebody did like sandwich, when I stuff like so many things, and then only 2 slides. About it for our little core. Then very
So it's not the amount of food that fills you. It's not.
So then concept they have 7 course, 4 course, 5 course. Why 100 course in Tintian? Because the problem is, we didn't know it was 7 course. Rona ba bang ile re tsama mo go ya boraro ka re setse re khotse.
Exactly. And
I was a student
Yeah.
university, so I was eating gore with again. At least I get to go rest.
Yeah.
Nna ke be ke khotse. But they didn't
Tell you, yeah,
Rona di chef ala re chaela gore no. This is a 7 course.
Yeah. And also by the 3rd course, it wasn't even main course.
No, it wasn't.
Yeah.
We
It
were
was still
far
gonna
from,
be,
we
yeah.
were far from, we were far.
So normally when you do those is when you do wine pairings or gin pairings or beer pairings.
Yeah.
So for a starter or for Amos Bush, as you come in, we give you a bubbly, you take that bubbly, you have it. Right? Or we give you a cider that bubbles up for that small bite.
Sure.
Then you have your entry, then you have your starters, then you have your main course, depending on the number of meals. So all of each meal goes with a taste, goes with a drink.
Sure.
Either gin or wine or ciders or beer.
Sure.
So it compensates. Or nama e ready le Guinness. Or when if it's a beer tasting. Or when fish it's that beer. Maybe Savannah, for instance. You understand? Chicken or when.
So because it's always like your neighbor beer tasting. It's like you are tasting food until the 7.
Yeah.
No, I get it.
So what our mission as well is to remember there's most of these establishments, the restaurant and so forth, Lady Pub. There's more sales in alcohol than food. So we're trying to actually make food the main event, right? And alcohol being a supplementary to the main event. So our culture in Africa, in South Africa, is that it's alcohol than food.
True, yeah.
And it's different anywhere else in the world where it's food and alcohol, because alcohol is a cleanser, or that wine is just to clear your throat and cleanse. Alcohol accompanies food, not food accompanying alcohol.
So, yeah, no gotta get a volunteer as a teacher. Then you fit work with the career day. Must I call you?
Are we available?
How busy? Mama, you go bad only busy.
I think we had that function to take care of. We are available, obviously, with arrangements.
Only busy.
Yeah, I'm available. He's available. If not me, he's gonna come. Or the other guy from home that we work with.
So
there's a network of us.
Oh, there's a network of you.
Yeah.
So creativity, everybody's allowed to explore or whatever.
With food.
Yeah.
Your mind is your limitation.
So anga fried chips, olive oil, what's up?
How much is your olive oil? How much is your olive oil? That's a
very.
You make your money back. Remember, ultimately the aim is to make money.
Yeah, I don't know. I get it. You know, almost painting, like you can brush, sharp a stroke with E3, then you sell it for a certain amount.
Hence, I'm saying ultimately the aim is to make money. So if that olive oil you're gonna use 500 milliliters, ga 3 kilos of chips. When you do your costings, does that translate and you put your percentages? Does that give you the money that you want out of it?
I will definitely get my money back.
So the other thing is, the chips, guys, the chips are pop. When papa wa pega wa roba tsa go fishing overnight, we cut the size of the chips, we roll like a dust, we roll like a flour, that's the chips. I get shaba so you want the chips.
How do you mean?
So that's what I'm saying. The mind is your limitation. The mind is your limitation.
But the chips are papa too, never you make a killing, but to barata papa.
But papa, you make it so light that it's fluffy.
Yeah.
So it's not as dense. And there are ways to do that.
Yeah. Because of now, because I'm planning for a company in the future, so I don't want you for your own. But in comments, I gave and I hope you
No, we should. Like I said, even if it's over the phone, physically, I'm available. Tefo is available.
Yeah. I'll make a 10 good Josie. I don't know when.
Good to meet you, my brother.
Yeah.
Good to meet you.
So here's a question before we leave, and I asked yesterday, how do we help you attain what you want to attain? Because you're going to help us attain what you're attaining by this. How do we then in turn help you?
In terms of growth.
Progressing.
It's a podcast there.
Remember
No, I know.
So on Tatu, say no. From 9 written, how do we actually pay the gratitude? Paying gratitude, not just in gratitude. How do we make sure that you expand? Do we follow you? Do we talk about you? Do we put you in our status?
This is what I'm gonna do. Obviously, I'm your friend on Facebook again.
Yeah.
I'm gonna take you.
Yeah.
So obviously your audience will see Napo, he did something.
Yeah.
Few of your audiences batla ba drawn to yone. Obviously won't be everyone, but sharp automatically yone ka bo yone. Says ke tsene mo tepileng to your market mo bathong ba gago. Then baba na le khatlego batla feletse rolo can let us go and listen. Then if they catch a good interest batla bona okay, this guy has another podcast fela yelo. That's what I'm trying to do. I know how to swim.
One day we'll a branch to your listeners.
Branch isn't like
hosting 5 for your listeners or something.
I'm because of I'm on the foundation phase. I have a lot of plans. I want to see this thing growing, and it's gonna be big. In my mind, I see success. So
you need to call it out. We are calling out what. That's why we're here.
Yeah.
The reason we came to Mafikeng today was literally, I have never had a function with Mafikeng since I left.
Sure.
I've always wanted to do something.
Sure.
So this gave me the platform to come and do something. Now I'm interacting with you.
Sure.
Now there are people that saw our product yesterday that interacted with our product. Is then what do we do with the relationship and the momentum of the relationship? Best benefiting everybody in this car at this point in time.
Sure.
Good to meet you, my brother.
It's not nice to be asked questions.
What I'm saying is let's rely on each other, brother.
This thing it's interlinked. Like the reason why I want to see people progress. Your progress is also my progress. I go be a podcast, which I'm also trying to build it into a better space. I go be you are drawing your viewers, I'm also drawing your viewers. It's a win-win marketing
so
skill.
Little now when we have probably a brick and mortar structure, we'll invite you.
No, you should.
Come host your podcast and see.
You should.
Yeah.
You should. Since we're originally the planets are the camera, but I'm skeptical about how to face to the people. I don't have a face for TV.
That's what I used to tell myself as well.
I don't have a face for TV. I'm talking to you. I don't have a face for TV.
Because nobody has a face. But I've done a lot of TV features, TV shows. It's not about the face. Kika, how should I put it? It's about you.
Yeah.
How you interact with your following and your passion.
Yeah, no, man, I will grow.
We are growing.
Yeah, we
are growing. Let's call it out.
We are growing.
Yeah, we take ownership of it.
We are growing. No, I can't be like crew because crew is too big, bro.
Good to meet you.
Since I'm risky, according to me.
Let me go make it like that.
Thanks a lot, brothers.
Thank you very much.
Sharp.
Sharp. For my numbers, I've got yours. I'll flick Tefo. Let's on.
Hey,
That's fine, right?
Yeah.